Everyone keeps saying California's housing market is finally calming down in 2025, that the chaos is over, the bidding wars are history, and the market is finally finding its balance. But if you look past the headlines, the story is very different. Because beneath that thin layer of optimism, the foundation is still shifting, and not in the buyer's favor. Prices might not be skyrocketing the way they used to, but they're also not dropping fast enough to offset everything else that's getting more expensive. Insurance premiums are jumping in wildfire zones, coastal towns, and even in suburbs that were once considered low risk. Property taxes are eating up a larger share of monthly budgets, and interest rates, while slightly lower than last year, are still high enough to push first-time buyers straight back into the rental cycle. Meanwhile, thousands of people are still leaving the state every month. They're not just chasing cheaper homes, they're escaping the financial pressure that's been building for years. And that pressure is now hitting certain cities harder than ever. Places that once felt like safe bets are becoming financial traps, slowly draining savings and crushing budgets before buyers even realize what they've stepped into. What makes this moment so risky is how quiet the shift is. There's no dramatic crash, no instant collapse, no obvious bottom. It's a slow correction, one that creeps in through rising premiums, shrinking demand, hidden climate risks, and neighborhoods where the cost of living simply doesn't match the quality of life anymore. And the cities taking the biggest hits aren't always the ones you'd expect. This is HouseLine USA, and today we're breaking down the top 10 worst cities to buy a house in California. The places where the scenery is stunning, but the financial reality behind it is anything but. These are the cities where affordability is slipping, demand is weakening, and long-term risks are piling up under the surface. By the end of this video, you'll not only know which cities to avoid, you'll understand why they're sliding, what danger signs to watch for, and how to protect yourself from buying into a market that looks beautiful on the outside but unstable underneath. Now let's start with a city everyone recognizes, but very few can truly afford to buy in anymore. Number 10, Los Angeles. On the surface, Los Angeles still sells the fantasy. Sunsets over the palms, year-round sunshine, and the promise that anything can happen. But for anyone trying to buy a home here in 2025, the dream evaporates fast. The median home price hovers around $860,000, while the median household income sits near $78,000. That gap isn't just big, it's impossible. Even with the slight dip in interest rates, a typical mortgage now easily pushes past $4,000 a month. And that's before you add insurance, taxes, or HOA fees that have quietly crept higher every year. Insurance has become one of LA's biggest hidden threats. Premiums have doubled since 2022 in neighborhoods exposed to rising wildfire danger and extreme heat, areas that never used to be a problem. Carriers are tightening coverage, raising deductibles, and dropping policies entirely, forcing homeowners into expensive backup plans. Even safe bet neighborhoods like Silver Lake, Echo Park, and West Hollywood are showing cracks, with homes sitting weeks longer on the market and more than 1/4 of listings slashing their asking prices in early 2025. Meanwhile, the middle-class backbone of the city is thinning out. More than 30,000 residents have left the LA metro since 2023, pushed out by high prices, long commutes, and the feeling that the math simply doesn't work anymore. Teachers, nurses, artists, and small business workers, the people who actually keep the city running, are finding better deals in Arizona, Nevada, and Texas. And they're not being replaced at the same rate. New luxury developments are still rising downtown, but demand for anything above entry level is softening. Investors are becoming more cautious. First-time buyers are sitting on the sidelines, and long-time residents are wondering if this is the beginning of a slow correction, not a temporary pause. Los Angeles still sparkles on postcards and billboards, but behind the glow is a housing market straining under financial heat. And if you think LA looks unstable, the desert brings its own set of warnings. Number 9, Palm Springs. Palm Springs has always been California's desert escape, a place where mid-century homes sparkle under the sun, pools shimmer in every backyard, and the lifestyle feels like a permanent vacation. But in 2025, that paradise is coming with a price tag that's growing faster than the temperature. And out here, the temperature is no joke. Last year alone, Palm Springs recorded more than 70 days above 110 degrees Fahrenheit, breaking yet another heat record. Those extreme temperatures don't just make afternoons unbearable, they drain bank accounts. Cooling costs for an average-sized home can spike to $500 or more per month during peak heat waves, and utility providers are already warning that summer pricing will rise again. Insurance companies are reacting too, and not in a good way. Premiums in high-risk desert zones have jumped over 50% since 2023, and multiple carriers have either raised coverage thresholds, pulled out entirely, or shifted homeowners onto costly state-backed plans. Some buyers now find that their dream home comes with insurance quotes higher than their monthly car payment. But the real pressure point isn't just climate, it's supply. During the short-term rental gold rush of the early 2020s, investors snapped up properties, built aggressively, and expected tourism demand to last forever. Except it didn't. Palm Springs is now saturated with vacation rentals, and the shift in California's STR regulations has left many owners scrambling. Nearly 1 in 3 listings in early 2025 cut prices, and many sit on the market far longer than expected as buyers hesitate to take on high utilities, high insurance, and declining rental revenue. Underlying all this is a growing economic paradox. Palm Springs has plenty of homes, but fewer people willing to take the risk of owning them. Add in water restrictions tightening again, thanks to another dry winter, and the long-term outlook becomes even more complicated. Landscaped yards, once a symbol of desert luxury, are now expensive liabilities requiring drought-friendly renovations just to stay compliant. Palm Springs still photographs beautifully, and the lifestyle still draws tourists who come for the sunshine and escape. But beneath the glossy vacation aesthetic, the market is straining under heat, costs, and oversupply in a way that even longtime residents didn't expect. Paradise is still here, but for buyers, it's a paradise with a warning label. And if you think that's rough, the next city is battling a completely different crisis. Number 8, San Francisco. San Francisco has always been the crown jewel of California living. For decades, it was the place where innovation met culture, where the skyline glowed with tech ambition, and where every block felt like a postcard. But in 2025, the city's housing story looks nothing like the dream it once sold. The median home price still floats near $1.3 million, keeping it among the most expensive markets in the country. Yet incomes, even in the high-paying tech sector, aren't keeping pace with the mounting financial pressure that comes with living here. Property taxes sit near the top of statewide averages. Insurance premiums have climbed past $6,000 a year for many homeowners, and condo HOA fees pushing $1,200 to $2,000 per month are no longer unusual. They're expected. That combination alone wipes out huge portions of a buyer's budget before they even start thinking about the mortgage. But the deeper issue is demand, or rather, the lack of it. Since the pandemic, more than 60,000 residents have left San Francisco, including thousands of tech workers who once fueled the city's economy. Office vacancy rates remain stuck above 30%, leaving entire corridors feeling hollow during the week. The ripple effect is obvious. Fewer workers mean fewer renters, fewer buyers, and fewer people willing to take on a 7-figure mortgage in a city that still feels uncertain. Homes aren't moving the way they used to. Nearly 1 in 3 listings in early 2025 cut their asking price, and even high-end units in prestigious neighborhoods are sitting on the market for months, something unheard of just a few years ago. Investors, once eager to pour money into the city, are pulling back as concerns grow about long-term affordability, declining foot traffic, and shifting corporate footprints. And yet, the magic hasn't vanished. The scenery is still jaw-dropping, the culture is still rich, and the city still holds a kind of energy you can't find anywhere else. But the cost of accessing that energy has reached a breaking point, and for many buyers, the math no longer makes sense. San Francisco remains iconic, but financially, it's becoming impossible. Head inland, and the warning signs grow even clearer. Number 7, Stockton. Stockton has always been one of California's most resilient cities. It struggled its way back from the Great Recession, rebuilt its housing market, and became a symbol of recovery when much of the state was struggling. But in 2025, that hard-won progress is slipping, and the warning signs are beginning to stack up in a way locals can no longer ignore. The median home price now sits near $475,000, but the median household income has remained at around $68,000. On paper, that gap doesn't look disastrous by California standards, but for Stockton, it's the kind of imbalance that slowly unravels the market from the inside out. Families who stretched to buy during the pandemic boom, often with low down payments or adjustable rate mortgages, are now feeling the squeeze as rates reset. Monthly payments have jumped hundreds of dollars, at the same time that insurance premiums have risen across the region. Foreclosures have surged about 15% year over year, and equity is thinning out as prices cool. Nearly 1 in 4 listings in early 2025 cut their asking price, and homes that once sparked bidding wars now sit for 50 days or more before getting serious attention. Sellers are growing anxious, buyers are becoming cautious, and investors who once poured money into the Central Valley are redirecting their focus to safer markets. Crime remains one of Stockton's biggest hurdles. The city still holds one of the highest violent crime rates in California, and even modest improvements haven't been enough to shift buyer sentiment. Families relocating from the Bay Area often put Stockton on their shortlist until they see the numbers. Investors aren't blind to those concerns either, which means fewer rental buyers and slower overall demand. Meanwhile, new construction on the outskirts of town continues to expand, creating a mismatch between supply and demand. Builders are delivering more homes, but the pool of qualified buyers isn't growing with them. That imbalance leaves entire pockets of half-occupied subdivisions. Another warning sign for a market losing momentum. Stockton's decline isn't dramatic. It's gradual, quiet, and easy to overlook. But slow pressure can be more dangerous than sudden shock. And as the coast struggles with its own challenges, the next city tells an even deeper story. Number 6. Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz has always felt like a coastal escape, where redwoods tower over winding roads and surfers carve through morning waves before most people even leave for work. It's the kind of place that feels too rare to ever lose its appeal. But in 2025, the housing market here is showing stress that even the scenery can't hide. The median home price now sits around $1.18 million, making Santa Cruz one of the least affordable markets in the entire country. With the average household income barely rising above $87,000, middle-income buyers are being pushed into a financial corner where more than 50% of their gross income goes toward housing. That's a level of strain experts consider unsustainable, and buyers are feeling it. Insurance has become a growing crisis. Santa Cruz faces a rare combination of risk: wildfire exposure in the surrounding hills, storm-driven coastal flooding, rising sea levels, and erosion that's inching closer to homes each year. As a result, premiums have surged roughly 40 to 45% since 2022, and many policies now require specialized fire coverage that adds thousands of dollars annually. Some coastal homes are even being denied traditional coverage altogether, leaving buyers with only high-cost state-backed options. The market itself is cooling. Nearly 27% of listings in early 2025 dropped their asking price, and homes are sitting twice as long as they did before the pandemic. Younger families, once a vibrant part of Santa Cruz's culture, are quietly heading inland, choosing affordability and stability over ocean views. Santa Cruz still has its magic: the boardwalk, the beaches, the sunsets that light up the entire horizon. But that magic comes at a cost that fewer people are able or willing to pay. Move farther north, and the challenges take on a different shape. Number 5, Mendocino. Mendocino looks like a dream preserved in time. Harsh cliffs dropping into the Pacific, quiet forests humming with fog, and small coastal towns that feel untouched by the pace of modern California. But behind that beauty is a housing market struggling under pressures most buyers never see coming. The average home price has climbed above $655,000, while the median household income in the county barely reaches $62,000. That gap has forced many local workers to look elsewhere for affordable living, accelerating an outflow that's reshaping the community. Over the past few years, Mendocino has watched its population slowly shrink and age, creating a housing market with more sellers than qualified buyers. Insurance is one of the biggest stress points. With dense forests, steep slopes, and remote communities scattered along high-risk terrain, wildfire exposure is a constant concern. Premiums now average around $4,900 a year, and several major insurers have stopped writing new policies in the region. That leaves many homeowners relying on expensive state-backed plans, coverage that often costs more while offering less protection. Infrastructure adds another layer of risk. Roads buckle during heavy winter rains, power outages are common in rural stretches, and broadband remains unreliable across large portions of the county. For remote workers or families needing reliable access to schools and services, these issues aren't minor, they're deal breakers. The housing market reflects that hesitation. In the first quarter of 2025, roughly 35% of listings saw price reductions, the highest rate in Northern California. Homes now sit on the market for months as buyers question long-term stability, job opportunities, and the rising cost of maintaining older properties in a harsh coastal climate. Mendocino isn't collapsing overnight. It's slowly weakening. One family is leaving, one insurer is pulling out, one empty home at a time. And just south of here, another Bay Area market is facing even deeper strain. Number 4. Oakland. Oakland has always been one of California's most culturally rich and resilient cities. Its music, food, activism, and creativity have shaped the Bay Area for generations. But in 2025, the housing market here is feeling pressure from every direction. And even the city's undeniable character isn't enough to hold things together. One of the biggest challenges is crime. Oakland consistently ranks among the top cities in the nation for property crime. And that reputation is hitting buyer confidence hard. Car break-ins, home burglaries, and retail theft have pushed many would-be homeowners to look across the bridge or out of the region entirely. Over the last 2 years, more than 11,000 residents have left the city, taking with them tax dollars, small businesses, and long-term stability. The housing numbers reflect that shift. Homes are now sitting on the market for 60 to 70 days on average, more than double what they were just a few years ago. Nearly 30% of listings saw price reductions in early 2025 as sellers struggled to attract serious buyers. Investors, once drawn to Oakland's relative affordability compared to San Francisco, have become far more cautious. Insurance is another rising threat. Hillside neighborhoods like Montclair and Redwood Heights are seeing some of the steepest wildfire-related premium increases in the East Bay. Several insurers have tightened their underwriting or pulled back coverage altogether, leaving homeowners with high-cost plans and limited options. Meanwhile, the city continues to struggle with budget strain. A shrinking tax base makes it harder to fund essential services, which only fuels the perception of instability, creating a cycle that drags the housing market down even further. Oakland still has heart, soul, and a community unlike anywhere else. But in 2025, heart alone isn't enough to offset the risks weighing on buyers. And just down the coast, a luxury paradise is showing cracks of its own. Number 3, Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara has always been the postcard of California's coastline. Spanish rooftops glowing in the sun, pristine beaches, and that unmistakable Mediterranean feel that makes every street look like a luxury retreat. But in 2025, the beauty comes with a financial weight that even high-earning buyers are starting to question. The median home price in Santa Barbara now pushes close to $1.45 million, and that number barely changes even as demand softens. Meanwhile, the average household income in the area sits near $93,000, creating one of the widest affordability gaps in the entire state. A typical mortgage on a median-priced home often exceeds $5,000 a month, and that's before property taxes, utilities, and HOA fees that keep creeping upward. But the biggest pressure point isn't price, it's climate risk. Santa Barbara stands at the intersection of 3 major environmental threats: wildfire danger from the foothills, mudslides triggered by winter storms, and long-term drought conditions that strain already tight water supplies. These overlapping risks have driven insurance premiums into the stratosphere. Many homeowners now pay $5,000 to $7,000 a year, and some hillside properties have struggled to secure standard coverage at all, forcing buyers to rely on costly state-backed plans. The market is cooling, even at the high end. Nearly 30% of listings cut their asking price in the first quarter of 2025, and luxury homes, once guaranteed to sell within days, are lingering on the market for 2 to 3 months or more. Wealthier buyers are becoming cautious, while middle-income residents are leaving entirely. Since 2024, more than 8,000 local workers, including teachers, service employees, and healthcare staff, have moved out as housing becomes increasingly out of reach. Santa Barbara still looks like perfection from a distance, but up close, the financial foundation is far less stable. And now we head to the city built on showbiz dreams. Number 2, Burbank. Burbank has always been the polished suburb of Hollywood, the place where studio gates shine in the sun, neighborhoods feel safe and walkable, and families could once live comfortably just minutes from the entertainment world. But in 2025, that glossy reputation is hiding a housing market that's under far more stress than most outsiders realize. The median home price in Burbank now sits near $970,000, while the average household income hovers around $92,000. That mismatch pushes even well-established professionals into payments they can barely manage. Add in property taxes that rank among the highest in Los Angeles County, and homeownership becomes a monthly balancing act that many families are starting to question. Insurance has become another major hit. With wildfire exposure from the Verdugo Mountains, rising heat-related risks, and continued drought conditions, annual premiums have surged to $4,700 or more for basic coverage. Some residents are even reporting increases of 30 to 40% in just the past 2 years. For a city once known for stability, those numbers are alarming. But the real shift is happening in the job market. The entertainment industry is still recovering from multiple strikes, production slowdowns, and cutbacks in animation and post-production. Studio jobs, once the backbone of Burbank's economy, are no longer guaranteed. Layoffs and hiring freezes have reduced buyer confidence, and that uncertainty shows up directly in the real estate data. Homes that used to spark bidding wars now sit on the market for 60 days or more. Nearly 25% of listings saw price cuts in early 2025 as frustrated sellers realized demand wasn't what it used to be. Even condos near major studios like Disney and Warner Brothers are sitting longer than expected. Burbank still looks picturesque. Tree-lined streets, classic diners, that old Hollywood charm. But beneath the surface, the financial strain is real, and buyers are feeling the pressure with every new bill. And that brings us to the city facing the biggest financial storm of all. Number 1, San Diego. San Diego has always carried a certain mythos. Sun-soaked beaches, perfect weather, thriving neighborhoods, and a lifestyle that feels more like a year-round vacation than everyday life. But in 2025, that postcard image hides one of the most strained housing markets in the entire state. And the warning signs are piling up faster than most buyers realize. The median home price has climbed back above $840,000, pushing affordability far beyond what local incomes can comfortably support. The median household income in San Diego County sits around $85,000, meaning many buyers now spend close to 45 to 50% of their income just to cover basic housing costs. That level of pressure is unsustainable, and it's starting to reshape demand across the region. Insurance adds a whole new layer of risk. With wildfire exposure on the eastern edges, coastal erosion threatening low-lying neighborhoods, and rising sea levels inching closer each year, annual premiums have jumped more than 50% since 2020. Several major carriers have tightened their underwriting, reduced coverage options, or quietly exited high-risk zones altogether. Homeowners who once paid manageable premiums now face quotes that rival luxury car payments. Then there's water. San Diego's silent budget killer. New water usage fees, drought-related surcharges, and rising utility costs have pushed monthly bills to levels many longtime residents have never seen before. Meanwhile, downtown tells its own story. The condo boom of the early 2020s led to aggressive development, but demand hasn't kept pace. Vacancy rates in some towers are climbing, and more than 1 in 4 listings in early 2025 saw price cuts as sellers tried to attract hesitant buyers. Investors are becoming cautious, renters are negotiating harder, and developers are quietly slowing new projects. San Diego still looks like a dream from the outside. Coastlines glowing at sunset, palm trees swaying, neighborhoods full of life. But beneath that calm, the financial strain runs deep. For the wrong buyer, paradise can quickly turn into a long-term burden. And that's why San Diego tops the list in 2025. California's housing market isn't collapsing, it's shifting. Slowly, quietly, and in ways that most people don't notice until the pressure reaches their front door. What looks like stability on the surface is really a statewide correction unfolding piece by piece, neighborhood by neighborhood. The warning signs aren't always dramatic, but they're impossible to ignore. Insurance premiums climbing faster than incomes, interest rates that refuse to fall low enough to matter, and affordability sinking to a level where even lifelong residents are questioning whether they can stay. More than 300,000 people left the state last year, and that migration alone tells you everything you need to know about where the market is heading. Buyers are becoming more selective, sellers are becoming more anxious, and entire cities are feeling the weight of risks that didn't exist a decade ago. Whether it's climate exposure, shrinking job markets, or simple financial burnout, each of the cities on this list reveals a different piece of the puzzle. And together, they paint a picture of a housing landscape entering a new era. In a market like this, success isn't about chasing the next hot city or assuming prices will always rise. It's about timing. It's about understanding the risks behind the scenery. And more than anything, It's about staying informed so you don't get caught in a long-term financial trap hidden as a dream home. So now we want to hear from you. Which cities shocked you the most? Have you seen these trends happening where you live? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective might help someone else avoid a costly mistake. And if this breakdown opened your eyes, make sure you subscribe to HouseLine USA. The next chapter of California's 2026 housing forecast is already unfolding, and we'll be breaking it down as it happens, long before it hits your wallet. Stay smart, stay cautious, and stay ahead of the market.